Here's another tip from EnglishAnyone.com about how to get fluent in English faster. To get fluent faster, move like English speakers. Hello and welcome to another edition of How to Get Fluent in English Faster. Today, the reason you're looking at my pretty face and not a whole bunch of lovely images like usual is because we want to talk about how to move like an English speaker. Now, I live in Japan, and one of the things I notice about Japanese people is that they move differently. They move differently than English speakers. Even young children, we begin teaching them, and we can see that a young Japanese child does things differently than a young American child. And these are the things that we want you to pay attention to when you're speaking with someone. So when you're watching people or having a conversation with them, pay attention to how they move, because this is part of the language as well. As an example, when we count numbers in English, I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now this is standard for counting English. Maybe you count like this, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. But in Japanese, we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm using my hands in a different way than when I'm speaking in English. So if I'm counting in Japanese, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if I'm counting in English, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My hands are not touching each other. And these are things that we want you to study because they're so important, not just how you sound, but also how you look. So maybe some cultures they move around a lot more, or some cultures maybe they move around less, but it depends. If you want to get fluent in English faster, or you want to understand maybe specifically British English or American English, learn how to move like those speakers. As another example, one of the differences between Japanese and English is how we say I. Now in American English, you pronounce I and you point to yourself. Maybe I point to my chest. It's kind of hard to see here. I point to my chest with my thumb or my finger. I am Drew. In Japanese, you're pointing to your nose. Now think about this. If you're a Japanese speaker and you're pointing to your nose when you're speaking English, even if you speak perfect English, you're still using a Japanese gesture when you're speaking in English. So remember, pay attention to these things. There's lots of little differences like this. Again, counting or pointing to yourself, these are just two examples of different things in English and Japanese. Now, there are many, many others, but you're not going to learn them unless you pay attention. You have to watch the way people move in conversations. So as you're watching people, copy them. If you see, like people are moving like this when they say this thing, or they move like this or that, or they touch their ear, or whatever these people do, pay attention to those things. Remember, a language is not just what you say, it's how you say it, how you express yourself. So for learning English, move like native English speakers do. Watch what they do, copy them, and ask them, how do I do this? Is this an English gesture or is it not? Most people, they won't remember because they're naturally doing these things. These are things that we've learned from way back when we were children. So again, watch what children do. Watch what they do. Children point to their nose when they say I, or do they point to their chest? Or do they point to their ear? Or do they count like this? So remember, watch what people do and learn to move like native speakers, and you'll have a lot more fun and get fluent in English faster. Have an excellent day, and we'll see you next time for another tip about how to get fluent in English faster. Bye-bye. To learn more about our monthly Master English Conversation audio and video lessons, and to get fluent in English faster with our free newsletter and email video course for students, visit us at EnglishAnyone.com.